Good afternoon. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm here at the city's Emergency Operations Center. Joining me are the leaders of our Office of Emergency Services, our Incident Management team, and members of our city's executive team. Today, we want to provide an update on the work that we've done to recover from last week's storm and preparations for the storm that we expect to arrive tomorrow. Before I do, I believe I speak for all San Diegans when I say that our hearts are with the residents of our southeastern and South San Diego communities, particularly the neighborhoods of Southcrest, Encanto, Mountain View, Rolando, and San Ysidro. As these communities begin to recover, we're offering not just our hearts, but we're also lending our hands. Every day since the storm, our stormwater, environmental services, transportation, and public utilities departments have been on the ground in those same neighborhoods. They've been clearing storm channels, culverts, and drains of accumulated debris with the benefit of the emergency powers authorized by my local emergency declaration that allows us to move more quickly and around normal regulatory approvals. My community engagement team in the mayor's office, along with city council staff, have been in the most heavily impacted neighborhoods of Southcrest, Mountain View, and Encanto, making sure that residents have the resources that they need to recover and to prepare for the upcoming rain event. They've been going door to door daily, handing out flyers with the latest updates on available services, distributing donated supplies, and soliciting resident feedback and input on their needs. I want to thank these members of our city team, and I also want to thank community members and neighborhood nonprofit organizations for what they've done to come together to provide information on the needs of the community to the city while also helping these neighborhood residents. I also want to thank our city crews who have been working literally around the clock, both to recover from last week's storm, as well as to prepare for the storm that will arrive tomorrow. Now, I want to reiterate, as much as we have been focused on helping residents in these impacted communities recover, we've also been preparing for the rain event that will come tomorrow. As I mentioned, we have cleared storm drains and storm channels. We've picked up accumulated debris from homes. We're delivering pre-filled sandbags to these neighborhoods and making them available at neighborhood recreation centers. However, given what we saw last Monday, the ground in these communities remains saturated. The significant clearing that has been accomplished in the storm channels and storm culverts. Today, we will be taking an extra precaution to protect the residents of these communities. Soon after this briefing, we'll be issuing an evacuation warning to residents in low-lying areas that endured flooding last week. Let me say that again. Soon after this briefing, we will be issuing an evacuation warning to residents in low-lying areas that endured flooding last week. Now, I want to be very, very clear. This is not an evacuation order. This warning is voluntary, and it is designed to encourage residents in these flood-prone communities to prepare if and when evacuation does become necessary. Residents in these areas should consider gathering important documents and belongings and make sure that you have a plan to move yourself, your family, and your pets out of harm's way should major flooding occur. If you are willing and able, we are encouraging residents in these low-lying areas to seek alternative accommodations. The city is establishing a shelter at the municipal gym in Balboa Park, and we'll be providing transportation to those who need it. We will have extra public safety and swift water rescue teams in these communities. And should a mandatory evacuation order be issued, the San Diego Police Department will make contact door to door. Now, in preparation for this storm, we're asking all San Diego residents to sweep and pick up trash, leaves, and other debris that can collect around storm drains and gutters near your home. Keep lids securely fastened on your trash and recycle bins, and place each bin 2 to 3 feet away from the curb so that stormwater is not impeded. Know the safest routes to and from your home or property should flooding occur. And if you don't need to be on the road during the storm, please support our local first responders by staying home. And of course, never ever drive, ride, or walk through floodwaters. Throughout the storm, crews will be monitoring the more than 46,000 storm drains citywide. The city's storm patrol, which consists of transportation and stormwater department staff, will be fully mobilized to monitor areas throughout the city and respond to incidences such as temporary flooding, downed trees, and branches. The city will close flood-prone roads in advance of the storm. Sand and empty sandbags are available at 11 recreation centers. To find a list of those locations, go to sandiego.gov/storm. And for more information and other resources on how to prepare for the storm, go to that same website I just mentioned. Residents who see storm-related hazards in their communities should report that to the city by calling 619-527-7500. Again, for storm-related hazards in the community, call the city at 619-527-7500 for the quickest response. Of course, if it's a life-threatening emergency, please call 911. I'm grateful to all of the San Diegans who have stepped up to help their neighbors in need get through this extreme weather event, including the dedicated city staff who have been working around the clock to aid in the recovery for impacted residents. Together, we will get through this. With those comments, I'll hand the podium over to our Fire Rescue Chief, Colin Stoll. Chief Stoll.
Thank you, Mayor Gloria. I'm here to communicate to the public that the San Diego Fire Rescue Department is prepared for these next series of storms and have been preparing for several days now. All of our dispatchers, lifeguards, firefighters, they'll be on duty in their facilities tomorrow and throughout the weekend. We brought on extra staff, and in addition to all of our fire stations and lifeguards being staffed, Lifeguard Division will staff up an additional 8 swiftwater rescue teams strategically deployed throughout the city of San Diego in those prone areas that we know are historical problems for us in the flooding. We'll also be bringing in 2 swiftwater rescue teams funded by California Office of Emergency Services. Those will be initially dedicated to the southeast and southcrest areas, but of course be flexible and able to deploy throughout the city. San Diego Fire Rescue Department has also staffed up additional engines to patrol this area and to work to add manpower to that, as well as our technical rescue teams will be available citywide to be able to respond to those in need during these floods. As I tell you now that the Fire Rescue Department is prepared, my next message, and you heard it from Mayor Gloria, is that we want you all to be prepared as well. Making that plan that he referred to, practicing that plan, communicating that with your family, knowing where you're going to meet up, how you're going to get a hold of each other is essential. Plan that ahead of time. Gather up those documents, prescription medications, glasses, charging for your personal devices. All of those things should be gathered up in preparation for that. And as you look to your escape routes or your evacuation routes, have secondary means. Do not plan to travel through roads that we know are historically prone to flooding in those areas. We want you to be prepared in advance. And as Mayor Gloria said, this evacuation warning is voluntary. But if you choose to do so, we ask you to do so in advance. Do that earlier. Do not wait for the heavy rain and the flooding to start to begin those evacuations. The earlier you can do it, the better prepared for your families, and the better able we will be able to respond to those areas and help those in need. If you are going to travel through to any of the evacuation centers, we also ask that you be very cautious in your driving. Do not drive around barricades, obey all signage. Do not drive through standing or moving water. There is no way for you to tell how deep those are. And many of the rescues that you see us performing of people inside those vehicles had no idea how deep that water was until they get stuck. And so again, I ask you to do this early. Do not wait till late tomorrow morning. If you have already experienced recent flooding or you know you're in a flood-prone area and neighborhood, we ask you to make those advanced preparations and be ready to do that sooner than later. Now I'll turn it over to our Transportation Director, Bethany Bizet. Sorry.
Good afternoon. Since the storm on Monday, January 22nd, the Transportation and Stormwater Departments have taken unprecedented efforts to clean city streets and restore access to the right-of-way. Additionally, and most importantly, we have deployed extensive resources to perform emergency channel clearing activities. Since the January 22nd storm, over 100 city staff and contractors have performed inspections and emergency channel clearing. Over 4 miles of channels have been cleared or inspected in the past 5 days, and the Choyas Creek from Beta and Birch Road to Ocean View and Cottonwood Creek from Osborne to 43rd Streets will be fully cleared by this evening. For comparison, annually, the city has only been able to perform maintenance on 4 channel locations. The scope of the channel clearing since last Monday has only been possible due to the city's emergency declaration, which has allowed us to activate extensive resources, funding, and contractor support to achieve this goal. City crews have worked multiple shifts daily to ensure the maximum level of flood resiliency within our communities. And now that the Choyas Creek and Cottonwood Creek channels have been maintained, we have restored the channel capacity, which will help ensure the channel is able to best handle the upcoming stormwater runoff. It's important to note that this work has been critical to help minimize flooding. However, we cannot prevent flooding. The National Weather Service is forecasting tomorrow's storm to bring less total rainfall and a lower intensity than the storm on January 22nd. However, we do expect flooding, and we are preparing resources to be available to proactively close roads when needed. Today, city forces are preparing for our storm patrol activities, and we are expecting areas within the 100-year floodplain to be impacted by the upcoming storm. We are planning for the full force of 350 employees from the city's transportation and stormwater departments to be available for flood fighting efforts tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Bethany. Thank you, Chief. Naturally, we have most of our city team here available to answer any questions I'm sure you will likely have, but I just want to reiterate my appreciation to all who have been mobilized over the last week and a half or so. The end is not near. We have this rain event, and then, of course, we're predicting another one next week. And our message today is for folks to take this seriously. Take personal preparations that you can take to help lighten the load for our first responders who will be doing some very important work over the next few days. Have a plan, make sure you're ready to deploy it if necessary, and know that the city will be providing every asset that we possibly have to make sure that we can get through this as safely as possible.